Forgot to get something to drink. Well, I was trying to see what I was going to get in here before I start explaining myself. So if you're here, welcome. Welcome back to After the Snap. And I am your host, Tasha Pierce. I'm pretty sure you guys forgot my name by now, huh? It's been so long. It's been an entire week since I have sat here with my friends who love movies and TV series. And the last time we were together, it was my birthday. So it was my birthday, and I told a little story. Hey there, Clarence. I told a little story on my birthday about how I was trying to do my traditional birthday dance and I dropped down low and couldn't get up off the floor. And it was haha, it was real funny that day. Man, when I tell you, the next day I was sore. But I was like, okay, I learned a little lesson. I'm telling you a story, Angus. Angus, this is nothing, it was nothing enjoyable about this vacation. The next day after my birthday, I was sore. So Monday morning, sore, but I was laughing. I was still, I found the humor in it that I thought that I could still do the same things that I had just done 1 year earlier, but I can't do that no more. This whole week, I have been in excruciating pain. I couldn't even stand up. Couldn't walk from one room to the other without excruciating pain. Pretty much was in bed for like three consecutive days. I couldn't do anything. I am still in pain. Like right now, I don't know. I got a big pillow back here propping me up. I am in pain. So at the beginning of the no, at towards the middle of the week, I started telling people, like I told Davina, and Lysandra, because usually I'll be trying to get over these kinds of things without complaining too much. I finally just started whining. I'm crying. I went through a mental health crisis at the same time, and then added this. So I'm crying at this point. So D sent me this care package. And Lord, thank God for good friends, because D sent me a care package that had like everything, the icy hot patches with lidocaine. Because remember, all this happens and I'm broke. I just like spent the last of my money paying my bills for last month. Okay, so she sent the icy hot patches with lidocaine. She sent some biofreeze. Those things were godsends. She sent me some pain medicine, some water, some a massager, some massage oil. My next door neighbor gave me a really good massage. So thanks goodness for that, young man. He don't even speak English. He could just the universal language of pain was on my face. He gave me a massage. I'm trying to get my life back, but yes, here we are back just in time for Stream Something Sunday. I got one thing on the docket that we're not going to be able to get to, and that's Euphoria, because I don't know why HBO Max is playing. HBO Max say, okay, Euphoria is coming out on January 9th. It's January 9th. Everywhere I looked, it was January 9th. So they're saying it's not coming out until 8 p.m. my time. I don't know why they don't do like everybody else and just drop that thing at like midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning. But Euphoria is not out yet, and that might be good because a lot of people may or may not be even interested in watching it, and if they are, they wouldn't go probably be able to watch it the first day and be ready. So thank you guys for being here with me to hang out. Got another piece of news off the top, and that is that Reinhardt contacted me. Oh, well, that makes sense. Reinhardt contacted me and said that, he was asking for prayer for his stepfather. I never watched. I didn't even I didn't get HBO Max, so I didn't know that how they were doing their regular series. So I'm not gonna beat them up too bad, Clarence. If that's how they've been doing it, I'm the person that's new to the party, so I got to get used to and get on board with the way HBO Max is doing their things. So yeah, Reinhardt, he wanted to let us know that his stepfather is now at a hospital in Winston Salem, and that he is there's not a lot that they can do with him now. They're just trying to keep him comfortable. So, if you are a prayer person, continue to keep Reinhardt in your thoughts because his family is going through right now. Another person I want us to keep in prayer is and I mean prayer, whatever you do, because I'm not assuming that everybody does everything the same way. But if you just have good well wishes, our friend Lysandra, um, COVID caught up to her, and that's a very complicated thing with her because she has a very serious heart condition. So she's hospitalized, and she's doing well. Her spirits are very high. She's doing pretty good under the circumstances. And that is because she is double vaxxed. She has her vaccine. So she is definitely okay. Yeah, she's going through, but she's getting through, if that makes sense. I truly I'm hoping the best, and I know that we're gonna get what we want out of that situation because she really sounds good. She doesn't sound really bad. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna sure she says she might pop in if the Wi-Fi supports it at the hospital that she's at. She's gonna pop in, but if she doesn't, I'm gonna sure let her know that you sent your well wishes, Clarence. She will appreciate that. I appreciate it as well. That's my girl. I don't know how I'd navigate life if something happened to her. So with all that information out the way, I'm trying to think, was there anything else? I got to make it quick because I can't even sit in this chair for. I found out that about an hour is my limit. So let's get into the book of Boba Fett, the tribes of Tatooine. Um, Man, to me, another stellar episode. Now, of course, I keep saying to me because I'm not as well versed. This is good for me because I'm not as well versed in all of the backstory, all of the lore of Star Wars. So this has been good to me because it's filling in a lot of blanks that I didn't have that I wouldn't have gotten filled in if I had not watched uh this series. So going into the book of Tatooine, the book of Boba Fett, Tribes of Tatooine. Of course, I can't even. Oh, there we are. The Tribes of Tatooine. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I don't see what y'all see. That's gonna be a problem. So, there are dual plots to this. I'm glad you liked it too, because I'm still seeing some whiners about the book of Boba Fett. We'll get into it a little bit more. I don't want to give a whole lot of attention to the whiners, but they are out there, aren't they? They out there trying to make it really bad for people who are enjoying the series. I thought this was better than the first episode. The first episode gave us showed us how he got out of the Sarlacc and the predicament that he found himself in right after. To me, that side of things has been more interesting. Oh, thanks, Angus. It's a lot going on, but we're gonna get through it, all of us. And the whiners ain't got nothing to whine about. You are 100% correct because they didn't even have to be getting this show. this show in itself, to me, it speaks to the dedication of the people who are producing these things to making the fans happy, and the fans was truly happy. Big fans, deep cut fans. They were really happy with this. I didn't understand the importance of a certain character who shows up, but I did recognize, like, hey, that looks like. So before I jump around, let's go into the tribes of Tatooine. That first episode gave us a little bit of backstory, what was going on with Boba, and as I was saying, that side of the story has been more interesting to me. The stuff that is happening in present day has not caught me as much. Not that it's losing me, it's just that I'm more excited. Like, let's get back to the other part where things are really happening. Because one side of the story, a lot is going on. The other side of the story, not so much. But we see Boba. Yes, it was. Yes, it was, Angus. It gave me that. It gave me old school Western feel as well. It gave me that Lawrence of Arabia, and then it gave me every Western that I ever saw with my dad, where the train robberies, and we'll get into it. Boba continues to learn the customs of the Tusken Raiders. And what I'm finding out is it ain't just Boba who are learning these customs. Excuse me. It's not just Boba who's learning these customs. We're learning them too, because the Tusken Raiders were just sand people, and they were a lot of times seen as I won't call them a bad guy, but yeah, kind of a bad guy. They were seen as a group of people that you wanted to stay away from. We're learning more about them all together, and I thought that is awesome because we're all at pretty much the same place as far as the Tusken Raiders go. So we have seen uh, Boba be born again, and by that, kind of like the Native Americans, don't you think, Clarence? They were seen as savages. Yeah. Uh, we saw Boba rise up out of the Sarlacc pit. It was a rebirth for him, and he learned also that his old ways of fighting were not going to get him out of the situation that he was in. He was not going to come out of that situation alive if he kept fighting. So there's that old adage: if you can't beat them, join them. That's particularly what that's specifically what Boba had to figure out. If you can't beat them, join them. He started to show that he had worth to the group. In the first episode, he proved that a little bit more in this episode, and uh we see that he discovered that he gets further by earning the Tuskens' respect. So that also goes back to the way that he says he wants to rule his crime family. He wants to rule it with respect because he learned that you're going to get a whole lot further by gaining the respect of the people that you're surrounded by. So we talked because we hit some points that was in my notes that that's in my notes. You guys have already said about the Lawrence of Arabia thing. I talked about the old school westerns. There were plenty of callbacks to old school westerns. The train fight. The train fight sequence were very artful. Again, harkens you back to westerns. That female Tusken was a beast. Now, I got a feeling that she's going to play more as we move forward through the series. I don't know why. I guess the reason why I feel like that is because they gave a lot of camera time to that character. Even though we don't know what she looks like, we see that she is formidable. She's a hell of a fighter because she was putting Boba on his back. As long as you're fighting and you're fighting in the ways of the Tusken, she was putting him on his back and showing him a better way to use his staff. I thought that was cool. Uh, Also, so Boba showing mercy to the Pike. Now, I wasn't familiar with the Pike. Wasn't familiar with them. I understand now that they are kind of a bunch of outlaws, and Boba makes it very clear to them though that these warriors, the Tuscans, have an ancestral claim to the Dune Sea that should be respected. And I was like, Dune Sea? That sounds an awful lot like Dune. And again, it is. It is pulled directly from Dune. Let me see what Clarence got over here. Claire said, my favorite was when the female Tuscan was going through the cabin and we were watching from the outside. Gave me slight old boy vibes. Yes, yeah, you can just, all you can see is the first thing you see after she goes through is her yanking that one guy out. Man, the cinematography in that part, first of all, Dune C plus spice. Yes, Clarence. First of all, the way they did the visuals are beautiful, period. But the way they did that train, where okay, you will see the people getting knocked off by that backblast from the whatever that was. I don't know if that's an engine or what, but yeah, it was so beautifully done to me. Um, them learning all of the lessons that Boba also was teaching them, how to use the spoils that he had gotten from when he went to that little juke joint. That I understand even that is a deep cut in Star Wars lore. Let me see what Angus got here. So far, the Pikes are one note bad guys. They're all gangsters who traffic spice and slaves, and that's about it. When it comes to their vengeance, they are ruthless. Well, I hope they don't try to come back and mess with my Tuscans, because I didn't I didn't have a dog in the fight because I didn't know who was who at first. But these Tuscans, I'm starting to view them as the way the American people did the Tuscan. I mean, did the Native Americans, the white people, not American people. The Native Americans are the American people, the white folks who came to colonize. The way they did them, that's the way I'm seeing this thing juxtaposed. So now I'm rooting for the Tuscans. Uh, Boba also established that a toll is going to be paid anytime they come through. That y'all come through here all y'all want. You can't harm anybody, and you cannot. And then you have to pay a toll. Because yeah, that spice thing, the Dune Sea thing, made me think of Dune. I looked back and realized that George Lucas was heavily influenced by the works. Oh gosh, I can't remember the author, but George Lucas was heavily influenced by the book, the series Dune. So I don't even Solo Train Heist vibes. That one I'm not familiar with, but it gave me all of that, and this one is this one was just so well done as far as the execution of this whole fight scene. I loved it. Now we also, we got another. Wait a minute before I move on. In the lore, some 5,000 years before, maybe 25-ish thousand years, Tatooine was lush and verdant, but Offworld has fought with the Tuscan ancestors and blasted the planet. Frank Herbert's Dune. Thank you. Now, Angus, I had been seeing something about that, how Tatooine wasn't always like this, just pretty much out of the way, middle of nowhere planet. That it was one time a thriving planet until, stuff happened. Of course, I didn't know how far back this thing went. We talking about 25,000 years. That's a long time. Frank Herbert's Dune. Gosh. So then we also see Boba formally become a member of this tribe of Tuscans by completing this vision quest. So they I don't know if it was the spice They blew some type of hallucinogenic drug in his face though. So it made me think of oh, what is it called? The pay is it peyote? If you guys know what I'm talking about, correct me. The peyotes, I think, is the name of it, where uh it's a hallucinogenic drug, but they say that it's like it brings you as close to God as a lot of people say that they'll ever be before going to the other side. Yeah, that's what it is. I think that's what I'm talking about. Uh, but yeah, after this drug was blown in his face, and the lizard chased the chased the powder up his nose and lodged in his brain to show him where he would find this ancestral. I guess it was like an ancestral plane. Kind of look like the trees that you see in every freaking movie that has like you going to see your ancestors. So that was good. I mean, it was good until we saw the lizard go up the nose. That kind of bothered me. um, we see the Kessel Spice Mines on the Han Solo movie too. That one I watched it and I liked it, but I never revisited it. So I will have to revisit the I'll have to revisit the Han Solo movie. You know what? That might be what I'm thinking about, Angus. Oh yeah, not in the sinuses. No lizards in the sinuses. And the ayahuasca for Vision Quest. That might be what I'm thinking about. So yeah, he formally becomes a tribe by completing his Vision Quest. He comes back with a branch from this ancestral tree. Where, by the way, on his way, we saw him morphing between the old Boba in his armor and then new Boba in these undergarments or whatever this is that he's wearing. We see him morphing back and forth, and to me, it's like that's another sign of his rebirth where he is struggling with the old him and the new him. Then he gets to the tree and he sees all the eyes of those the Jawas. I was gonna ask y'all what it was. I'm getting better at the Star Trek. I mean the Star Wars stuff though. Of the Jawas, and the Jawas were who robbed him of his old self. That's the way I'm looking at that now. They robbed him of his old self, and so no, there's no more Boba the clone. Now Boba is his own man. He put down the helmet. He was looking in the helmet and the reflection. Remember, his daddy's head was in it when he was a little kid. But at this point, he sees his own reflection. And when he sees his own reflection, it's him becoming an individual. He's not as tied to his father. He had the freedom at this point to choose a family. And to me, it looks like he chose the Tuscans. Let me see. Yeah, now I read about that, Angus, that the Clone Wars showed Boba Fett, the young version of him, as a very angry child because I'd be angry too if my father was beheaded in front of me, despite uh whatever that they whatever beef they had, the Jedi had against his father. That's still his father. So father didn't do no wrong to him. Okay, and then he performed that ceremonial dance around that fire. That let me see. Here we are. uh so you glad we got glimpses of Daniel Logan's face. Now, who is Daniel Logan? Was that the child that played young Boba, or who is that actor? That fire dance was fire. The fire dance was fire. I thought it reminded me of, and of course I had to go and look. You guys know I'm not just, yeah, the child actor. Okay. I'm not just figuring this stuff out. Some of it. I did look and see that that's kind of like the tribe, because he's from New Zealand, right? And I cannot remember, forgive me for not remembering the name of the tribe of people. The Maori tribe, I believe. The Maori tribe, I believe, uh, are his people, and they have those types of ceremonies. So it was good that he was able to tie some of his own heritage into this thing as well. Yeah, that child actor, get you a couple of paychecks, baby. Get you some of that Boba Fett money. Okay, so yeah, I remember correct, the Maori, I think it is. Okay, so he's become more at this point. He's become more than the clone of Boba Fett. I mean, of Jango Fett. So I liked all of that. All that I got out of that. Now, on the other side of the plot, we were talking about how these, what do you call it, the assassins that the mayor sent. I can't see, and I can't even get up to hurry up and go get glasses. It's gonna take me half an hour to get to my bathroom, so I'm just gonna have to struggle. I don't think I got no all the reading glasses I got, and I don't have one pair. Let me see. Yeah, all the reading glasses I got, and this one pair sitting here, and I don't know if it's gonna even be strong enough because I haven't been in this chair in like, gosh, a week. And they're not strong enough. Okay, you said a haka. The haka dance is usually two-sided, an alternative to war negotiation through intimidating dance off. So there's like it's like a step competition at a HBCU. All right. But Boba learns that it was the mayor who sent those assassins to kill him. And we see the mayor. We finally meet him, and I don't forget what his name was, so forgive me. I forgot what the mayor's name was. But the mayor literally talks out of both sides of his neck. He is the quintessential politician. He said they recreated the Rancor pit scene perfectly. Now that I did remember, because I was like, damn, how many of those monsters do they have? But then I realized that this being so close to the end of Return of the Jedi, it was only that monster, and Luke had already done away with him. So there was that. Uh, we find out also from the mayor. Well, the mayor sends him back to the cantina, the club, and tells him, you need to talk to whoever that is that Jennifer Biel is playing. And she tells him that Jabba's cousins, the twins, are claiming to be the daimyos over this territory. Yeah, y'all gonna have to get me up on these species now. The mayor is an Ithorian, and was a pleasant surprise to see in that position. I'm pretty sure it was a lot of surprises for people who really are familiar with the lore. But yeah, it was shocking to me because, I mean, politician talking out of both sides of his neck. It kind of fit. It fit to me. So yeah, we see the twins. The twins come through, and they're saying that this is their territory. Now, I was particularly impressed with how they made this thing look so heavy. Because you see, like, how the center of this thing is dipping in under the weight of these two big ass huts. So So I thought that was some good attention to detail. And that the people underneath who were carrying this, I guess this is what we're calling a litter. The people who were carrying the litter were in complete and utter distress. I thought it was cool. He said the fan was tiny for such a big ass head. Right. What you gonna do? And Claire said he didn't get the side of the neck connection. You know, we getting an awful lot of politicians in our sci-fi here lately, and I guess I'm here for it. Uh, this Black Chrysanthemum. When I saw him, I thought to myself, "Self, that's a Wookiee." Of course, I didn't know what his story was and how many people would have just lost their whole shit when they saw Black Chrysanthemum. I thought it was cool. I didn't get how important this was. This actually brings him. They brought him from the comics, the Star Wars comics. So I thought that was a cool addition, and I hope they do something with this character. I hope it wasn't just, see, look who we brought for you guys to see. I hope that this character becomes key or central to this story in some way. We learned that the Hutts are in essence made men. They you got to get permission to kill them. You can't just do away with a Hutt without having an answer. So who do you have to answer to? Who do they have to seek permission from to kill this Hutt? That's a question that I had. Clarence, you said we're rumored to get more folks from the comics too. Well, you guys, I'm on. I can't not look. I try not to look and get the answers of to figure out what's going on. Some of this stuff, y'all send it over to me so I can get the answers from you guys. Angus says, I admit I kind of lost my shit. Oh yeah, that Wookiee took on old Ben Kenobi and more than held his own. So now that's another thing, is because did this happen? Is what we're seeing is after the return of the Jedi. So he would have already faced Ben Kenobi and lived. So that's a good, I guess that's a good thing to know. That this is after the fact. This is not before he met him. Reinhard, how you doing, sir? Question for anybody else. Did anybody here watch the Clone Wars TV show? I did not. No, I believe Angus did. Thank you for answering this for me, Angus. The Hutt cartel has a vast, powerful military fleet of warships uh, parked, protecting their home world. In emergencies, they are redeployed to remind people why murdering Hutts requires permission. Thank you. And Clara says, I've only seen the first season, really into Bad Batch, so I need to go back and watch, but I'm intimidated by the sheer amount of episodes, as am I, Claire. It's just too many. Just seeing how many I would have to get through before I even started to scratch the surface. I do like the fact that Boba Fett is filling in some of those blanks so that it doesn't feel as required right this second to get a good understanding of what's going on in the book of Boba Fett. Now, Angus Osano is going to show out and tell us, yeah, he watched the entire series and he watched it twice. So now I got some catching up to do. Reinhardt says, because Jabba had a son, and I was wondering why they didn't use his son's character, although that may still be coming. So Jabba the Hutt had a son. Yeah, I didn't know nothing about his son. And it is very possible that we are going to see, like Clarence said, more characters from the comics, and then you would have to believe that they're going to yank a few more people up from the series, Clone Wars, and other series as well. And Angus is giving me just baby step it, and I'm gonna have to just baby step it. So we filling in a lot of backstory uh, for Boba, but we're not advancing the present day plot very much. Uh, I do hope that that is something that changes. I am very interested in filling in those blanks, but okay, I want to know what all this has to do with right now. I see that a change in thinking, his philosophical his philosophical changes have made. Let me see. His changes in philosophy has made him approach his situation as far as being this crime lord. It is he's been influenced by his new philosophy. Gosh, words. That was just like words. He's been influenced by his new philosophy, and I thought that that was really great. Um, we're going to see. It appears we're going to see him try to put into practice as just daimyo what he learned from the Tuscans, and I am very much interested in seeing how that plays out through the rest of the season and with the fandom, because like I said, it's a lot of people nitpicking this show. I think that it was I think the show so far has been very well done. What's up, Davina Lark? Oh gosh. Angus says he don't know what happened to Jabba's son. His time spent with the Tuscans is informing the stances he takes in the current day. Thank you. I should have read that while I was struggling to get over. Yeah, I was struggling. Reinhardt said, "Yeah, I don't want to spoil and let case you spoil it in case you ever go back and watch it. But he would be an adult by now. I think. I don't know how fast Hut grow." Oh, Angus is greeting you, Davina. Claire said the old heads will tell you he's soft. A buddy of mine was just complaining that it's not his Boba Fett. Lord have mercy. That's the thing, because this was supposed to be the stuff in Boba Fett. The book of Boba Fett is supposed to be 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Am I correct? So if we go back 5 years ago, there is a lot. If you knew me 5 years ago, God, if you knew me 10 years ago, you would even see a bigger difference. But within the last 5 years, God dang, I've grown. It's a lot of stuff that I thought was cool or right that I know and realize now that, it wasn't either. It wasn't cool or right to think or to believe or to feel. You grow as a person. I think characters that are not developed to the point where they are rigid in what you have come to know them as. I think that it's cool for a character to show some type of growth especially after 5 years, and what he has gone through in those 5 years. Yeah, I get a little tired. I hate to give it even any attention, but we have to say what we gonna say. Um, you can't please these people. You're getting something that you didn't have to get. They did not have to give us this show. They gave you the show. People put their blood, sweat, and tears in it, hard work. And one of the things that I saw that somebody said was so freaking ugly. It was just like, we, all these years of Boba Fett being a character or something to this extent, all these years, and they just turned him into a stupid old man or a silly old man. You don't get to be an old man by being silly. You get to be an old man by learning. And sometimes you learn that the stuff that you thought you knew, you really don't know. Sometimes you learn that the people that you thought were down for you, cool, and your friends were not. That there was a whole different way of living. And this is what we are seeing Boba Fett go through. He is learning that there is an entirely different way of living. And he's applied that to his life. He's had an epiphany. He has had an awakening. I am ready to talk about Kobayashi. Kobayashi. However, before we get into that, I'm gonna give y'all a second to tell me what you are watching. So it's gonna be your time to shine. Tell me what is on uh your schedule, stuff that you're watching. What you watching? So is there anything different that you guys have anything new? We could talk about this real quick while you guys are getting together what you're watching. Said we had to drop the Maru because Disco just used the same name. You know what? I didn't even think about the fact that yes, they did. They did. I did not think about that, Clarence. But Clarence powered through Euphoria. So yeah, man, that was wild, wasn't it? That was so wild. Did you watch the two bonus episodes, Clarence? The one with about Rue and then the other about Jules? Reinhardt said, one thing about Boba Fett, so many fans have made their own headcanon about his story after the Sarlacc pit. I love the flashbacks and that his experience has have changed him. You know what, Reinhardt, it has been enough time for people. I mean, it's been an extreme amount of time for people to have come up with their own stories. And of course, they think their own story is better than anything that the writers and producers, directors, and etc. They feel like their story is better than anything they could come up with. So I'm saying, like you said a couple of weeks ago, Reinhardt, go ahead on and start your Star Wars fanfic. Then I would like to see it. Davina says she is watching Stay Close on Netflix. I'm on episode 4. I abandoned Stay Close. Didn't like it. Angus said the new season of anime just started this week. It's always panning for gold at the start of the season. Which anime? I'm not big in anime either, though. It's with certain types of anime, but not all of it. Not all of it. Claire said, "Whoa, you didn't watch those 2 episodes? Oh man." Um, and because I don't know what the heck we're walking into for season 2, whether or not those two are be pretty important, it will be. Um, yeah, the one with Rue especially, her episode will it has to factor in because they presented some information that we didn't have at the end of the season proper, and they threw those. They're kind of like bottle episodes, but still they threw them together because it was such a long wait between the end of the actual series and the beginning of this new series. We talking 2 to 3 years. Davina also finished Euphoria, but not those bonus episodes. It's definitely the one with Rue, definitely. But even though both of them, yeah. She also said she watched Power Book 2 new episode today. So, excuse me. So we got Power on the on the schedule as well. If that's something that you guys are into, we got a lot of good suggestions. Oh, now is this under the boardwalk or under the Broadway? Is this You said you watched Under the Broadway, the Monopoly story on Prime. Very interesting. Okay, that's something else. That's something else I got to put on my little radar. What else? Oh, I was going to talk about Picard really quick because y'all see how many people they had to shut down that production of for a little bit because 50 some odd people on the Picard production caught the virus. So I don't know when we gonna get Picard. It's not looking good at all. And if they were switching things around with Discovery and Prodigy and all of that, if they were doing that because of Picard, we are in trouble because they did all this moving with the schedule, and Picard probably still is not going to be ready. Uh, Angus said there aren't any really famous anime this season. Some that deserve to be famous, but mostly average fare. There's a few genres to choose from. Each has its charms. Clarence, I don't know what's going on, man. You said weren't they shooting season 3 of Picard? I don't know what's going on. I was reading an article on Deadline, and I'm not sure what the heck is happening with that production. Um, it's a mess. It just sounds like it's a mess. Now, one of the things that I found out that I was so worried about because I don't think I can suffer another loss this year already at the beginning of January or beginning of 2022. Sir Patrick doesn't have it. Thank goodness. So let's just protect him at all costs. I do not want anything to happen to Sir Patrick Stewart on this production. Really, I don't. Angus said those people on that set should have been all been inoculated. What the hell? But and I can't say that they aren't because just like I said about Lysandra is double vaxxed, but she does have some underlying health conditions, so it's easier for them to uh, to contract the virus. You know, yeah. Omicron is a different beast. My understanding is that the virus itself, the illness itself, is a much milder illness, but who wants to be sick? So, yes, Omicron is a whole different animal. It is busting through all kinds of doors, vaccinated, boosted. They is ravaging the unvaccinated, though. It is ravaging now. So if we're in this group, if hopefully everybody in this group is not gonna give me that to worry about. I already got that to worry about with my son and his girlfriend. That's starting to be, an annoyance where I have to keep. Uh, it's never too much. I don't think I'm doing too much when I fuss at them because I fuss. Like you guys, all of this foolishness talking about oh, what are some of their excuses? Well, if you're going to get it anyway, what's the point of taking the shot? And all of their stupid stuff. I'm so sick of hearing it. I'm so sick of hearing stupid excuses. So there's that. Yeah, there is that. My goofy child. Oh, you getting your booster tomorrow, D? Let me know if you get any symptoms from that because I just want to know, just want to put that in my mind. Like, do I need to be prepared to lay down for another week or not even a week for the shot? It was like 2 days. I was on my butt for 2 days. So yeah, these boys, these young men, they think they know so damn much. They think they know so much, but all we can do is stay on their ass. And my son, he realizes I'm staying on his ass because I love him. and that's it. That's all. I can't do much more. Can't make him take the shot. Okay, so your husband is getting his Wednesday. All right. And Clarence, yes, this is a conversation that I don't know who I was talking to. God, I only talked to my son, my sister, D, and Lysandra. So it had to be one of them. But we were talking about what are they going to do with some of these movies? Some of these movies, as much as we complained about it, I was thinking about Scream. I was thinking about Scream. Scream is coming out next week. So I was thinking, okay, they're going to wait. They're going to see what the box office looks like for Scream. If it's not looking good, I think not a day and date drop on your streaming services, but maybe give it 3 weeks to a month and then do your drop, because this is starting to get to the point. And Reinhard, you might have some insight in this because you work in a theater. But yeah, I'm starting to think we probably 2 to 3 months away from uh from being back in the position we were when Shang-Chi came out, where things were calming down a bit. I we can't even get our bearings. Yeah, but I am glad, Clarence, that we do have TV and movies that are coming to streaming services so that we can talk as we get through this pandemic, because we knew that it was coming, right? We knew that right after the holidays and everybody had their time together, that we were going to see a resurgence. But when they start talking about all of these places are going back into the red, to include Houston, that's and that the CDC, uh, of course, our government, the federal government, they've pretty much washed their hands of COVID talk. They've given up on trying to control it. It's just like, let them do what they want to do. And there are people who are going to suffer because of that, because they have those comorbidities that they can't control. My friend's heart condition is because it's a genetic heart condition. It's not something, she didn't sit around and smoke a gang of cigarettes and all of that. She lived a clean life. She's got serious health conditions that people ignore, and now my friend is in the hospital. So, but anywho, I'm not about to get on that soapbox. Okay, so your son's girlfriend, and she took the bull by the horns. I think that's what's going to have to happen here. But see, I first have to convince uh my son's girlfriend that it is a necessary evil. It ain't evil even. Go get the damn shot. It's pretty much what I've been saying. Reinhardt said, "I love Euphoria, but it tears my heart up sometimes. I love Jules and Rue so much. If something happened to those characters, I'll be ready to fight. Man, a lot has already happened." And I look at uh just briefly on Jules first. You know, she in this show is probably the most pure of heart out of all of the characters. We know Rue would probably be a great person, but the addict in her is an evil entity. She is sweet as pie, but when the addict takes over, we can see exactly how far it'll have Rue go. Jules is trying to validate herself through uh through sex. And if I can knock her upside the head, being a 49-year-old woman talking to a little kid, I knock him upside the head and be like, that never works. And I can say that because I was once that person, was validating myself. And now to grow up and to start to really look at myself as the person I am and not who I think I am, the person I really am, being me and being 100% real with it. I would have realized that I had asexual tendencies probably a decade ago, 15 years ago. But I kept playing the game because this was like, we supposed to play the game. We here to play the game. Can't win if you don't play. And in that game, when I wasn't playing it for me. So I see a lot of myself in some of these characters. And it's a not as far as like, I believe that Jules' thing is she wants to be looked at as desirable as a woman because she is transitioning. With me, it was that this is what they see me for. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna play the game. Game wasn't fun to me. Wasn't fun at all. Davina says she's gonna go see Scream, but it's gonna be early in the day. Clarence has said he's heard there's a huge divide now. Movies geared to the younger audience are the ones that are gonna do great because older folks are not gonna risk it. You might be 100% correct. Where the next, what's the next big one? Okay, we can say Uncharted. Uncharted would be geared towards a younger audience, I would think. And then after that, it would be the Batman. The Batman is geared, I think all of us would be universally interested in seeing Batman. It's going to be very interesting to see what the demographics look like of people going to the movies to see. We can start with Scream, and then we can move our way into those other two movies. I'm gonna look at the age ranges. They do all of that information is usually like Box Office Mojo and that type of site. So if you're as interested as I am, check those places out. Right? Clarence was talking to Reinhardt. He said that show was equally as interesting as it is depressing. Is this what young folks go through now? Yikes. I know it's an exaggerated version, but still. I asked my son about one scene in particular, and that scene was McKay and his girlfriend were about to have a little sexy time. You guys remember that scene? And that group of frat boys ran in, and that thing happened. And I asked my son, I said, can you honestly say that you have seen this happen or that you know of somebody that it happened to? And he said he knows of somebody that it has happened to. And that's scary to me. Say, you say your son's girlfriend likes to travel, so he has no choice. Oh, he got a choice. He can stay his ass at home. Oh, Angus says sometimes the only winning move is not to play, and that's where I'm at. I ain't playing no more. I if I can't find somebody, which is always going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult if I can't find somebody who has a meeting of the minds with me, who we're just going to, initially anyway. I don't want that type of relationship. I just want to be cool. You know what I'm saying? I just want somebody to talk to and be friends with and have that. I don't want to play the game. And if I can't find that, I won't find it. I'll do this. I have so much fun with you guys. I don't think you guys understand the roles that you are filling in my life. Morbius got pushed again, yes. And I don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I understand why. Um, Davina had made that point where it's okay, you push it. How do you know you're not pushing it into uh, a worse predicament than we're in right now? So I don't know. I just don't know how to solve a problem, but I do know that this is not a problem that's going to solve itself. We just going to keep passing this thing around if we don't get some kind of handle on things, and just at least just all say, okay, we're gonna, at least all of us are gonna be safe. Everybody, we're gonna be safe. We're gonna go with masks and sanitizer, and we're gonna do all of that. But we don't know if that's we don't know. We can't even trust the person next to us to do everything in their power to stop the spread. Reinhardt said, I had a friend who's watching Euphoria, and she said that one of the first episodes, when Jules hooks up with this person, she's almost the exact same thing happened to her. She said she was trying to be somebody, and if I'm this person, then these people will like me more. So that show is 100% on the money a lot of the time. And I'll say, yeah, like you say, exaggerated. Yeah, we can say it's exaggerated, but does the stuff happen? The answer is probably yes. And D is still mad about John Wick. They pushed that one pretty far. Yeah. I wasn't happy about that either. Now what else? Was there anything else we wanted to talk about in this space between before we get to Kobayashi? Because I don't remember if it was something we were supposed to go back to. Well, you guys will remind me, I'm sure. Let's get into Kobayashi, because this was, to me, Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, rating 4.5 out of 5. I'm still waiting to see when things pick up in the present day stuff. The stuff that we're going back in the past, absolutely fantastic. I need the pace to pick up with the present day stuff. So that's it. You on the fence about Kobayashi? Oh my goodness, Clarence. I don't even know. I want you on the show to tell me. Davina, before we move on, Davina said, I know some people that have had all of these experiences in Euphoria, and that's crazy. Because that's some crazy stuff that I done seen happen on that show. Really. So you're on the fence about Kobayashi. We're going to talk about it. Because I feel like Star Trek Prodigy is just knocking it out the park. Now that we're back to Prodigy, we had to switch gears, go back into Prodigy mode. But oh no, I told you. See, maybe you didn't hear me when I said I can't hear not one more. I don't want to hear. I don't even know what to say. This was not a good time for me to hear that, though. I don't know what 2022 is trying to do to us. But anywho, Bob Saget, rest in peace. I'm sorry. And Clarence is seconding my emotion here. Okay. We got the two plots of Kobayashi. A plot is finishing just after the protostar jump from terra firma. It's okay, D. You was gonna be the one to tell me no matter what. So yeah, it begins just after the protostar jump from terra firma. It landed 4,000 light years away from the starting point. They are now in the Delta Quadrant, which made me wonder to myself, are we still in this Dominion? Is the Dominion still a freaking enemy? Because now you're going into the Gamma Quadrant, and that ain't good. You're in Dominion territory at this point. We also found out there's a holodeck. And the holodeck, there was a transporter on the holodeck. I'm getting ahead, I know. That transporter scared the hell out of Dow. Makes me wonder if let's do this step by step. I got notes for a reason. Let's just stick to the notes. So Dow attempts the Kobayashi Maru test after he gets on this holodeck, and you find out that there is a lot going on where you can choose all of these different uh, what do you programs for the holodeck, Lord. And he chose Kobayashi Maru, and that when he chose that, he chose the Star Trek All Stars at their positions. This was like a virtual who's who. So we're going to get the creme de la creme for each position. Except I have a problem with Odo being there, but because Odo wasn't Federation, so that was my issue with Odo being there. But outside of that, we had Spock, Uhura, Beverly Crusher, Scotty. We and we got them, not just them, we got their original voices with using recycled audio. That recycled audio seemed a little detectable, but but it added to the nostalgia factor of that scene, of this sequence that was going on. uh Now, the fact that we're heading into this no-win situation with Dow going over and over, kind of like Boimler did in that one test that Boimler kept repeating over and over. Uh, Dow learning that a no-win situation is possible. There's a possibility that you can do every single thing right and still lose. That is a good lesson to learn at such an impressionable age. And he's gonna need it, especially if you are in a situation. Y'all are in the freaking gamma quadrant, and I don't know if this timeline that we're in is truly going to be a situation where the Dominion could very well be there, but you're gonna need that. You're gonna need this lesson about these no-win situations. I'm gonna pick up Angus. I mean, not Angus, Reinhardt. I love this episode, but I saw some discussion where people were saying they were getting irritated with Dal. I'm like, do they not understand the level of trauma this kid has been through? He can't, it's very hard for him to trust or believe anything, even if it seems obvious to us, the audience, and maybe even some of the rest of the crew. And I'm gonna stop there because it's another thing that we need to consider. These are kids. They're not Starfleet officers. They're not adults who signed up to be members of Starfleet. There are some kids, and like you said, they've been through traumatic events. They were made slaves. They are made to be slaves. All of these things have happened, but not only did it happen, it's happening to children. So while we might not be able to wrap our mind around the way they're thinking, because shoot, I would say Down might be 15, and it's been what, damn near 35 years since I've been 15. I'm not going to remember 15. I'm going to remember 15 uh, through rose-colored glasses. Like I was such a smart 15, and I did so much right at 15. No, at 15, I was a confused little 15-year-old girl. And anybody who says that they weren't, they have forgotten truly what 15 really felt like. He's acting like a 15-year-old. Reinhardt said, I don't know what is wrong with my vision. That recycled audio, they've been doing that on Star Trek Online for the last 12 years, but they do get a lot of actors who are still with us to come back and voice their characters. So that was Beverly Crusher. She was the one who actually voiced her character in this one. Clarence said Dow irritated me a bit as well. Oh, Clarence. But I think the composition of the audio voice tracks just threw everything off for me. I need to watch again. I don't blame the character specifically. Um so wait a minute. Clarence said, okay, I see what you're saying. I think they should have just revoiced the characters. I think the visuals would have been enough. Oh, a part of me, a part of me agrees with you, Clarence, but a bigger part of me says I like. I don't like that it sounded so choppy because it did. It was detectable, but I liked it because it was actually their voices, and it was fan service. That was the name of my episode today. It was fan service. Ain't nothing wrong with a little fan service. And I can see what you mean. It threw you out of the moments because it's not, it wasn't like it was well blended. It was detectable. You could tell that they had pieced the stuff together from different episodes of Trek over the years. It's kind of it makes me feel kind of the way a lot of people felt when they saw Luke Skywalker show up in The Mandalorian last season, where it was, yeah, it was great seeing him, but damn, the deep fake technology that they used, that fake wasn't deep enough. And that's the way I felt. I still enjoyed the moment, but I can see how it could be it was jarring in that moment. I get it. But yeah, there was that Boimler kind of flavor of Dow. It was done better though. It was done better. And I agree with that. That was one of the points that I have right here. That Clarence says, I think that I can see people raising hell if they would have done Ethan Peck. I think they could have used Duhan's son. And yeah, I think out of all of them though, I think Scotty was the least grating because Spock, they use Spock an awful lot. They use him an awful lot in that sequence. However, his voice was more jarring to me than anybody's in that situation. I think Uhura, with the limited things that she had to say, it could kind of fit. Beverly Crusher was there. Uh, um, Scotty was fine to me. Odo, I could tell wasn't, there, and Spock, I could really tell wasn't there, and it was kind of a little jarring. Yeah, I guess the more they had to say, the more obvious it became. So yeah, so we also see, and you guys feel free to come back to anything in that because I'm moving on. I told y'all my back only got a few minutes left on it. Gwen struggles with finding her place amongst this crew, and then Zero hits her with some knowledge. And I liked that. Hey, Lysandra Taylor. Hey, girl. uh, it is. It was an awesome love letter to Trek. Oh my gosh, the end when they put the dedication of the episode of the in memory of. I loved it. Uh, Angus said, "Don't hurt yourself for us." Oh no, you know what? I miss y'all. So, but I do know that I can't sit like this for too long. Just woke up. Well, good. You join us, so I don't have to tell you what Clarence said. Clarence can tell you himself. Anywho, Zero hits what's her name, Gwen, with some knowledge. He is and he also reveals that the telepathic species that he's from, the Medusans, they have a hive mind. Kind of took me back to Venom and shit. So I was like, yeah, they got a hive mind as well. So to me, that means that the accumulated knowledge of every member of that species should be a part of him. And that will make him very valuable in these situations, possibly in the Gamma Quadrant, but over the length of the series, especially. When he told her about translation versus interpretation, that was a big lesson for her. So we got the two big lessons. The no-win situation, so you need to calculate the needs of the many versus the needs of the few. And then Gwen learning that there is a difference between translating and interpreting something. And that was a big lesson for her. Then we see this flashback, or what, a flashback was it? Y'all tell me, because you look at the star date. That star date is like, it's got to be TNG era. I didn't look it up. It's got to be TNG era though. I know that number. Let me go through my slides over here so I can catch up with y'all. Because I'm like, wait, what? For the star date 49. 49 439 29.9. So in Star Trek Prodigy, that was 17 years ago. So that was let's see. We know that was 17 years ago, but it was like it puts this time period in TNG era. And I'm like, how the hell is that even happening? Reinhardt said, Clarence, now you messing with me. Jimmy Doohan's son Chris does the voice of Scotty in Star Trek Online. And like his father, he does many other voices. Clarence is looking up. Oh, you're looking up what I was just talking about. I think that's a TNG era star date, though. It really, but I'm trying to find it. I'm glad you looking it up too, good shit. So the Kobayashi Maru was updated to use the bridge of the Enterprise. I'm trying to see if you catch it before I do. But that flashback with the diviner, and if you find it, Clarence, it's TNG. Exactly. So are you getting my question? Even though I'm like, okay, it's a TNG era. It's in between the neutral zone and the Pegasus episodes. Do you know what season that is by any chance? Um so yeah, we see it was 17 years from where we are in canon on Prodigy. But that 17 years in the past put us in TNG era, right? So we see the diviner like begging that dreadnought to help him create an offspring, which, remember I was saying, is he really her daddy? So yes, she's pretty much a clone. She's pretty much a clone. He created the offspring to carry on uh this search for the protostar, which means he's looking for the protostar 17 years ago, which didn't. So now we get into some timey-wimey, weebly wobbly stuff. You know what I mean? And this has been an ongoing mission for like damn near 20 years. So this starship has been on his radar for almost 20 years. That makes the the point of it getting to, is listed as 2366 on Memory Alpha. Isn't that crazy though? Because now we got this ship being in commission There we are, Angus. Yeah, we got this ship that was commissioned with, we find out that Chakotay is the captain. So now we find out that this ship that has been commissioned with Chakotay and with all of the knowledge of what's going on in the Delta Quadrant. So we know that the ship was programmed with all the information from the Delta Quadrant, which lets us know that this all happened after Voyager got back to Earth. They built this ship, so it sounds like some time travel ish. Or am I crazy? It makes me think of that one episode of I'm sorry, excuse me, of Voyager, where the dude who he kept wanting to, was that Voyager? He kept wanting to relive this one or a situation where he was trying to make one city not disappear uh from some stuff that he did in the past. So now he's trying to continuously manipulate time so that that one city where his wife once lived reappears. Let's see. Uh, Claire said it's an NX ship. They could have been working on the drives since that time frame. And yeah, I'm looking at it like, though, how, Clarence? Okay, because the ship has the information from Voyager when Voyager went into the Delta Quadrant. It had it programmed in the ship because we saw it say that they were in way back, that they were in what territory, and I was like, are they going to run into the Herodians? They were in the Herodian territory. The only way that you are going to know that the Herodians exist, to have that in an updated starship, is if it all occurred after Voyager came back from the Delta Quadrant. That ship wouldn't even have that information beforehand. So that wasn't TNG era. That was more DS9 era. Am I making sense? Angus said Enterprise had an episode where they were in the mirror universe and discovered a Constitution class from the future of another timeline. But is this a Constitution? This is a NX ships. So this is like a prototype. I'm confused about something, because to have that ship, to have Dreadnought looking, I mean, not Dreadnought, the Diviner looking for the ship 17 years before the star date that we're at now. So to have him looking for the ship would have put it at the beginning of TNG. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's some time travel stuff got to be happening. It puts those events, okay. You said 2366. And the present for Prodigy is what, 2383. So I need to, like, what I'm gonna do is sit down and try to do some more studying. What was going on in 2383? What also was going on in 2366, and what was the star dates for some of the stuff that happened with Voyager? Because it seems like that the one show that I haven't watched over and over and over again is coming into play, and I am going to watch. I am going to watch. Protostar is its own class for certain. I mentioned the Constitution class just as an example of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Yes, and another thing that oh, wait a minute, I lost my thought. The timey wimey stuff. Gosh, it was right there, and it's gone now. Okay. Reinhardt says, "Oh yeah, Angus, you are absolutely right, because that ship was the USS Defiant, And of course, we know they rescued Kirk off of it, but we never know what happened when the ship disappeared. I love on Enterprise how they finally answered that question. Said, "Oh yeah, the USS Defiant. Yeah, it went back in time into the mirror universe." That was some good stuff right there. Yeah, they gave us some cuts, but it's like now we getting a whole new set of cuts. I want to know what's going on with this ship. How did this ship end up? How did he know about this ship 17 years ago? How did he know? And okay, so he could just come out with a clone of himself. He made Gwen out of some DNA, I suppose. So was he so quick to leave her because he knew he could just make another, you know? Clarence said, yes, that's a great few episodes to watch them in order. And Angus said Lower Decks season 1 is set in 2380. So Lower Decks is set in 2380. Prodigy is set in 2383. I don't say, well, Angus speculation is he is good, could be an alternate timeline, time travel, or both. Yeah, I am very, this is the type of shit that I like in a series where, yes, it's some questions. You wouldn't even think to ask the questions if you didn't pay attention to the star date. But that opens the door for questions, speculation, gives us something to talk about for a whole week while we waiting for this next episode. I love shows that do this because now it's like a puzzle that I want to put together, and there's an answer. We just got to know where to look, and we know that a lot of answers are going to be, it seems, are going to be in Voyager. It seems. Angus said the Next Generation season 3 was set in 2366. I need to put that in my notes up here. Season 3. Okay. Clara said he was so thrown off by the other part of this episode that you forgot about this part. And it does. It again, I am not disputing that those voices were jarring, even sometimes, even in a little bit of the appearance. But I recognize what they were trying to do. They had they had a reason for doing it. It wasn't just we just gonna beat your ass with nostalgia. It's we got nostalgia for a purpose. There's a purpose for this stuff that's here. The only thing that I didn't think that there was a purpose for was that game. I think I got a picture of it. I thought that was a dope picture of hologram Janeway looking at a hologram of Janeway. I thought that was dope. Of course, we got the hologram of Chakotay because we got so far ahead and I was not pushing the button on the slides because I got wrapped up in the conversation. This game right here, I don't know why this game would still be allowed in Starfleet after this is the game that I'm thinking of, ain't it? Ain't that the game that everybody was playing on the ship and they had gotten, I'm starting to get congested. Everybody on the ship was playing this game and they got addicted to it. Yeah, because I was like, why is that game here? That was dangerous on the ship. They should not have that game on the ship. But so yeah, and oh my gosh, the way they did the bridge. I know I'm going back, but it's just the order that I put the pictures in. The bridge, fucking beat for beat. They just give so much attention to detail and so much care to what they're doing for this this series. I love it. I absolutely do. That Kobayashi Maru screen was I'm gonna see if I can make it get bigger for y'all. It was almost identical to the original screen for Kobayashi Maru. Did you guys see that? Yes, Claire, chef's kiss. So there's that. And then we'll see where else. What else did I have to say? Oh, and that Zero and Gwen, they asked holographic Janeway what the Protostar's mission was. And she started to tell them, and then it was like, oh, I don't know. Oh, it's classified, and I don't remember. So you guys are not my first crew. Oh my goodness. Who was the first crew? Chakotay and them, I'm sure. But how was all of that purged out of Janeway's memory? Gwen discovers that the Protostar's computer is written in that Solum language of her home world. And yeah, Janeway don't remember Chakotay being there. She doesn't remember who the original crew is, which means to me that at some point we are going to meet back up with this crew. I hope we ain't just gonna lose them and and not get back to what happened to them. Something is going to have to give. I am very invested, and I am going to be trying to put the puzzle together over the next few days, because I'm not out of the woods with the back yet, but it does feel better. So I won't be so stiff next week. We can sit and talk. Oh, Angus said the game itself was safe. It was the module inside of the device that beamed shocks into the brain's pleasure center that was super dangerous. Reinhardt said, hold on, y'all, attention to detail. We got the backup when they show those holograms of all the badges. Tasha, one of those badges is for the temporal version of Starfleet. How would they have that? Oh, back up. I'll back up. I can't make it no bigger, unfortunately, because I got this done in my in this app. And I'm gonna move your comment real quick, Reinhardt, so you can see what you're talking about, and then I'm gonna go to that screen on mine so I can see. Okay, Reinhardt said in the ship's database, it's the two on the bottom, not the last two on my right, but the two right before that. They almost look like eggs. That's the symbol that the crew of USS Relative, you know what I'm trying to say. So not these, but these two. Oh, you don't see what I'm pointing at. Oh gosh, that was bad. Oh gosh. So yeah, I can't see which ones. I'm gonna have to go and check. I'm gonna have to pull this, make this bigger. I'm gonna have to make it bigger. But I see what you're saying, Reinhardt. There is some other badges here that he could have chosen from that he didn't. Temporal investigations. It's something going on, Clarence, and we about to put this whole thing together. I wish I had more time, but I'm literally in pain right now. So yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm not gonna do I'm not gonna hurt myself. But at the same time, this has just gotten very interesting because I do want to see uh I want to see if we can crack this thing. Like at least put us in a time frame of how this thing is happening. Some of it has been filled in, some of the blanks have been filled in as far as time goes. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. You said on the bottom, on the left is from a alternate timeline. I gotta go through all of this. And you say now you excited too, Reinhardt. Yeah. Oh, Angus said yes. There's definitely time shenanigans going afoot. Yes. Oh, and thank you, thank you, Angus, because boy, that was a big sneeze this time. Um, and Clarence is co-signing on Reinhardt, so Clarence sees it too. Y'all know it's gonna be a problem for me because I can't see. Period. So I'm trying to see what y'all see. That screen, oh, has a wealth of information on it, and we are going to. Thank you, Mr. Brown. uh this got a lot of information on it. This is going to be fun to try to pick through and see what we see. And y'all know how to get in contact with me when you guys got some stuff. Send it my way, and if I come up with something, I'm gonna send it your way. I'll put if I don't send it your way, I'll put it on the After the Snap Hangout Facebook group. I'll put it there. Clarence, I know how I can get in contact with you. Thank you, Clarence, for sending me that link to the image. I'm gonna look at that when I get ready to lay down here. Um, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. This has been fun, especially since we were able to discover some things. It was a few things, of course. We all putting in different little pieces to the puzzle. I love it. I love it when we get together and put our heads together and come up with some ish. Yes, we are like Scooby Doo and the gang. So yeah. So I also, I guess I better go on and go through the end because I wanted to say thanks to you guys who have continuously been supporting me through Patreon and other means. So thank you for that, Cass. Cass, who has been joining us and maybe wasn't sure that I was going to be actually doing a show today. Cass has also become a patron, and I truly appreciate it. So I got now Cass, Emily, Eileen, Clarence, Libra Spirits, and Larry. So thank you all, and Larry is Reinhardt. Thank you all for your continued patronage. Okay, Clarence, it just went from a 2.5 to a 4 plus for you. And I'm just going to, you know what? Voices be damned. I'm going to go ahead and give this episode a 5. I loved everything about it. I love it even more that for some of the stuff that you all have pointed out that you see. And, I think we are going to have fun with the last part of this series. Angus, your information and your knowledge adds value to the group. Everybody has value, you know. It's just, I do appreciate the extra help, but everybody brings something to this group. Every single person, every single voice. I feel like the luckiest person alive. I know that there was like a couple weeks ago, somebody was like, "You streaming to 3 people? You're an idiot," And I'm like, I'm streaming to a group of people who I consider my friends at this point. Y'all are not just some people anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to know your faces. I know your ideas, and I'm telling you, it brings value not only to this group but to my day, my week. I truly enjoy doing this. So it's not even a matter of I ain't making no money, blah blah blah. I'm not making no money, but I keep doing it because I freaking love talking to y'all. I really do. I really do. You said you go search the couch cushions. Oh gosh, no worries. That hurt. I'm through, y'all. It hurt. That was like a belly laugh, and I felt it in my back. And I'm not playing. So I will I'm not gonna make no promises about no other day this week. Just keep your eyes open and see, and I hate to be this way. See when I put something up about when I'm going to be able to sit down and really have a conversation like this one. But I will be here no matter what on Sunday. Only it's a few things that'll keep me from it, but this little backache ain't gonna be one of them. And I need somebody to help me come up with a plan to get my big ass in shape, because there is no way that this should have happened just from dancing. It should not have. I appreciate you all. Good night, Mr. Osano. Good night, Mr. Brown, and I appreciate your well wishes. And yeah, it's if it wasn't so freaking funny, yeah, it's funny, but it hurts. So yeah, I'll see everybody here next week where we will talk about Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett. We're gonna go again with Prodigy, of course. We might be able to pick up 2 episodes of Euphoria, maybe 1. So the first episode of Euphoria we'll talk about next week as well. And it was something else. There's another show coming out. Can't remember what it is right now, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, Peacemaker on HBO. We're gonna see if it's worth us talking about week by week. Love y'all. I missed y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.